Donald, Mr. Trump, it's day 5. Still haven't heard anything from you. Today's message is going to be a little more serious, sir. One of my very good friends that lives over in Ohio is under siege at this current time, and the state of Ohio and the ODA, along with the governor, the politicians, Sheriff Lutz, Jack Hanna, and all them other crooked bastards are taking this man's animals away from him after he pays taxes on his property and pays all of his bills out of his home. Let me back up here a few years and make sure that you understand this entire picture. A few years back, a gentleman by the name of Sam Missoula, who used to have grizzly bears, had a place in Ohio. A young man was killed there by walking into the cage with the bears. The minute that happens, his mother, who allowed him to work there, starts this rampage of just how dangerous exotic animals are. First of all, the human race has got to start taking some responsibility for their own actions. Very few people in America get killed by exotic animals. More people get killed on the highways today from drinking and driving, and they damn sure don't outlaw alcohol. Why? Because y'all make too damn much money on selling alcohol. My brother was killed by a drunk driver simply by moving furniture and moving my sister from one place to the other. He didn't do anything wrong, and that shit's still legal. But when Sam Missoula ended up dying in Ohio with his hands bound and a dildo down his throat, they ruled it suicide. Why? To make exotic animal owners seem and look like crazy bastards that don't have the responsibility to have exotic animals. Well, that didn't make enough news headline and scare the shit out of people enough, so they moved on to another friend of mine called Terry Thompson in Zanesville, Ohio. They picked out a perfect example on this one. He was in the federal pen on gun charges. To make him look even crazier when he got out, they let all of his animals out and killed him. Made it look like suicide, once again to make exotic animal owners look crazier than hell. To this day, until hell freezes over, you'll never convince me otherwise that that man killed himself. There's no way in hell anybody that loves their animals is going to turn their animals out knowing that they're going to be slaughtered and then pull your pants down before you shoot yourself. If you're going to make a statement, you're damn sure going to stick around long enough to watch it happen. Here's one thing I'd like you to do if you become president, and I'm not going to stop until we get you in that office and I get this set-down meeting with you. I want you to appoint a special task force that has nothing to do with the current investigators, the FBI, the local sheriff's department, or anybody else to look into these 2 murders and clear these people's names of suicide and being crazy in the name of trying to get the control of the exotic animal business. Now let's move on to when Ohio was starting to pass this law. You got a group of people, the Humane Society of the United States, Jack Hanna, the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, Big Cat Rescue, Tippy Hedren, and a few others that want control of this entire industry. And if you think I'm full of shit, pull up the laws and look. The Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries is exempt from the laws in Ohio as long as you are accredited by them. If you'll look at the Facebook pages of Big Cat Rescue and the website pages of Big Cat Rescue and the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, they brag and they have a 25-year plan to make sure that no exotic animals exist in America other than in their sanctuaries. You can't let them control the entire business of exotic animals and take people's pets away from them off their own property. We live in America, Mr. Trump, and this is totally absurd that Americans are paying their taxes and being treated like criminals. I constantly hear on the internet, on my Facebook, from people making comments, oh, well, I don't know if I want to live next to a tiger. What if he gets out and kills somebody? You know what my answer is? I don't want you to have kids and grow up and drink and drive and kill somebody I know. People are the worst enemies that we have in this country, and it's a free country to breed, drink and drive, hurt people, bash people, and many other things. And we're taking this out on innocent exotic animals? Another point that I'd like to make to you is every one of these animals entered this country with a green card. It's called a CITES permit. And these animals have been born from registered immigrants of their ancestors that came into this country, and they have just as much legal right to live in America and be taken care of as any other legal immigrant that moves to this country. I'm asking you, I'm begging you, and I'm pleading with you to sit down with us and have a discussion and let us explain to you about the corruption that's going on in this industry in order to control the exotic animal world and make tons of millions of dollars doing it. That's all I'm asking, Donald Trump, is to sit down and explain to you, and I'll guarantee you these 68 million people in America that I've tracked down that own exotic animals will stand behind you, and we'll make sure that you get that job you're seeking. Here's the 6 questions that we'd like to ask you. Here in America, we have a war in the animal world and the animal rights people in order to take our rights away, and 62.8 million people here in America own pets, and we'd like to know your comments and your concerns about a few issues. Question number 1. How do you feel about 501c3 organizations here in America that are scamming the public for hundreds of millions of dollars to take care of animals, and none of it goes to the animals? 90% of it goes to lobbyists to pass laws to further their agenda. 2, it seems like terrorist is the #1 topic anytime you turn the news on anymore. Are you aware that our own government, the United States Department of Agriculture, declared PETA a #1 domestic terrorist in the United States on November the 30th, 2009, and they're still a nonprofit tax organization here in America? How can you be a terrorist and get a tax break from your own country right here in America? 3, we'd like to know your opinion on how you feel on online bullying, not only of children, but adults, in the name of free speech, in order to bash somebody and ruin their reputation and their good name, only to make money for yourself and get away with it under the Declaration of Free Speech. 4, we'd like to know, how come us Americans that own our own property, own our own houses, and pay taxes on them do not have the right to have our own pets that we choose to have on our property or in our homes? Number 5, do you not think that we Americans have the right to assume the risk of our profession, no different than a cop, a firefighter, an oil rig worker, or anyone else that has the assumption of the risk of their professions? It is our right. And please, if you become president, give us back our right. And number 6, one of the most important, and this kind of touched on your speech at the Oklahoma State Fair about things being made in other countries and taxing them when they come into America. Do you not believe that it should be a right that any product made from the rainforest or an animal's habitat somewhere in the world should be taxed in order to be sold in America, and that tax money go back to helping rebuild the habitat and the rainforest so some of these animals don't become extinct in the futures to come? I'm Joe Exotic, and along with 62.8 million other people, we'd like to know if you have any answers for any of this. And you wouldn't believe the support you would get. But this war on American citizens and their animals has got to come to a stop. Well, that's the 6 questions that we'd like to sit down and discuss with you. That's all I have for you today. On video message 5, I've got 397 more to do. And I'm going to keep this up until we hear something or we find a candidate that'll sit down and listen to us. So for the rest of you presidential candidates, if you'd like to answer these 6 questions, I got 68 million people in this country that'll back you to get that job. I'm Joe Exotic, and I'd like to say thanks to all the people that view these messages and share them around Facebook. Because if Donald Trump wants to make this country great again, he's going to have to step up and help us make this great again.